Let's talk about a strange and painful pattern in our social lives. One you've likely felt, but maybe never put into words. It's this. People seem to gather around your pain, but quietly disappear in your joy. A tragedy strikes, a difficult breakup, a job loss, an unexpected diagnosis. Suddenly the world rushes in. You are surrounded by a comforting flurry of concern. But then, months later, fortune smiles on you. You get that incredible promotion. You find a wonderful new love. You achieve a lifelong dream. You share the news, expecting that same warmth, but you are met with a cool, polite distance. The crowd that gathered for your tragedy has vanished at the sight of your triumph. This experience is disorienting. It can make you feel cynical, questioning the very nature of your relationships. But before we offer any solutions, we must first honor the problem. We must diagnose the specific wounds this phenomenon inflicts, because only by understanding the pain can we begin to heal it. Part 1. The 3 hidden wounds. This social dynamic doesn't just feel strange, it leaves real marks on our psyche. Let's diagnose the 3 hidden wounds that it creates. First, there is the wound of emotional dependence. When we rely on the crowd to validate our experiences, our inner world becomes a roller coaster we can't control. We get a temporary high from the flood of sympathy when we are down, making us feel seen and cared for. But this creates a dangerous dependency. We then unconsciously expect a similar energetic response for our successes. When we are instead met with quiet indifference or veiled envy, the silence is deafening. It creates a confusing, painful low. Our self-worth becomes fragile, tethered not to our own reality, but to the unpredictable and ever-shifting reactions of those around us. Second, there is the wound of betrayed trust and social isolation. As humans, we have a deep need to share our authentic selves. But when we offer our vulnerability, our deepest struggles or our most ecstatic joys, to a wide audience and are met with inauthentic responses, it feels like a quiet betrayal. Sharing a devastating personal struggle with a group of colleagues, only to later hear it twisted into office gossip, is a profound violation. Similarly, sharing a huge personal win and being met with a quick, dismissive subject change makes you feel foolish for having shared it at all. This wound teaches us a dangerous lesson, that it's not safe to be real. It makes us build walls, deepen our sense of isolation, and reinforces the cynical belief that no one really cares. And third, there is the wound of the hollow victory. This may be the most insidious wound of all. When we become conditioned to need others to celebrate our successes, our achievements begin to feel hollow and unreal without their applause. The joy of the victory is no longer in the accomplishment itself, but in the performance of it for an audience. We start chasing success not for our own fulfillment, but for the external validation it might bring. Our joy becomes a product to be consumed by others, and when they don't celebrate with enough enthusiasm, the victory feels empty. We become actors in our own lives, leading to that profound, sinking feeling of inauthenticity. Part 2. The paths to healing. These wounds are deep, but they are not fatal. They are ancient wounds, and for millennia, the great philosophical traditions have offered powerful remedies. The goal is not to change the world around us, but to fortify the world within us. Let's walk the 3 paths to healing. Path 1. To heal emotional dependence, the Stoic path of self-reliance. To heal the wound of emotional dependence, we turn to the profound wisdom of the Stoics. Philosophers like the Roman slave-turned-teacher Epictetus and the Emperor Marcus Aurelius taught that the source of our suffering is almost never the event itself, but our judgment about the event. including our judgment of how others react. The Stoic solution is to build what they called an inner citadel. Imagine a fortress within your mind, a place of peace and strength that is untouchable by external chaos, praise, or criticism. This is your true home. The Stoic writer Seneca put it beautifully. The greatest blessings of mankind are within us and within our reach. A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not. Building this citadel means practicing a radical form of emotional independence. It means training yourself to be the primary source of your own comfort and your own celebration. When you are in pain, you learn to be your own first responder, to sit with your grief, to understand it, and to give yourself the compassion you seek. When you succeed, you learn to be your own most enthusiastic audience, to truly savor your victory for the effort it took and the growth it represents, independent of anyone else's reaction. The Stoic path teaches us that depending on the shifting winds of public opinion for our emotional stability is to be a ship without an anchor. The goal is to become your own anchor. Path 2. To heal social isolation, the Confucian path of discernment. The wound of betrayed trust often leads to a simple, painful conclusion. I should never share anything with anyone. But this only deepens our isolation. The Eastern sage Confucius offered a wiser, more nuanced path, not one of total silence, but of profound discernment. Confucianism is deeply concerned with the nature of relationships and social harmony. It teaches that not all relationships are the same, and therefore our communication should not be the same in all of them. This is the solution to the pain of oversharing. Confucius is often credited with the saying, "Silence is a true friend who never betrays." This isn't a command to be a recluse. It is a reminder that silence can be a form of wisdom and self-protection. The practical application is to consciously divide your relationships into an inner circle and an outer circle. Your inner circle is small. It is comprised of the few precious individuals who have proven over time that they can handle the full spectrum of your humanity, who can genuinely celebrate your joy without envy and hold your pain without judgment. These are the people who have earned the right to hear your most sacred stories. The outer circle consists of colleagues, acquaintances, and the wider community. With them, the path of wisdom is one of dignified reserve. You can be kind, friendly, and authentic, but you do not need to offer up your deepest heartaches or your most triumphant victories for their casual consumption. This isn't being fake. It's being socially intelligent. It's protecting your most vulnerable experiences from the curious, but not necessarily caring, gaze of the crowd. This path heals the wound of isolation, not by building higher walls, but by building a stronger gate and choosing wisely who you let inside. Path 3. To heal the hollow. Victory. The Nietzschean path of self-sovereignty. Finally, to heal the wound of the hollow victory, we must undertake the most challenging journey of all, the one toward becoming our own validator. For this, we turn to the fierce wisdom of Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche despised what he called herd morality, the tendency for people to adopt their values from the crowd. He believed the ultimate goal of a human being was to become an Übermensch, or overman, a being who creates their own values and lives by their own internal law. This is the direct antidote to needing the applause of others to feel that your success is real. Nietzsche famously wrote, "No one can build you the bridge on which you, and only you, must cross the river of life." This means your path, your struggles, and your victories are uniquely yours. To seek validation for them from others is to ask someone else to approve of a journey they can never truly understand. The Nietzschean path is about graduating from needing an audience. When you achieve something great, the joy is not in the likes, the comments, or the congratulations. The joy is in the act itself, in the overcoming, in the discipline, in the expression of your own power and will. You celebrate your victory because you know what it took to achieve it. When you suffer a setback, you don't need the sympathy of the crowd to feel validated in your pain. You see the pain as a necessary part of your growth, a challenge that will forge you into something stronger. This is the ultimate freedom. It's the moment when you truly stop performing your life for others and start authentically living it for yourself. Their reaction, whether it's celebration or silence, becomes irrelevant, like the noise of a distant storm that can no longer touch your inner citadel. The art of true connection. The painful social pattern we began with, of people flocking to our pain and fleeing from our joy, reveals a deep truth. Most people are navigating their own inner worlds of envy, insecurity, and desire. Their reaction to your life is almost always a reflection of their own story, not a true measure of yours. To expect the crowd to perfectly mirror our feelings is a recipe for lifelong disappointment. But the philosophical path offers us a way to break free. It is a threefold journey. We build the inner strength of the Stoic, so we are not shaken. We practice the wise discernment of the Confucian, so we are not betrayed. And we cultivate the self-sovereignty of the Nietzschean, so we are not hollow. True, deep connection, where someone can genuinely celebrate your triumphs and mourn your losses as if they were their own, is one of life's greatest and rarest treasures. Cherish it with everything you have where you are lucky enough to find it. And for all other times, know that your journey is your own. Your pain is your teacher, and your joy is a quiet, powerful, and self-sufficient celebration, a fire that needs no one else's breath to keep it burning brightly.